like to make a proposal to the board as a way to keep Stu's legacy alive at Mojave Air and Spaceport well beyond his retirement. So against my better judgment, I'm actually in disagreement with my boss about proposing this to the board, and I believe this change should happen now rather than wait until his retirement, because we're already kind of hearing this pool building all over the press. So I'd like to make the change official. This is my request to the board. I recommend to the board that we consider changing the name officially to the Stuart O. Witt Center at Mojave Air and Spaceport. Alternative names would be Stuart O. Witt Hall or Stuart O. Witt Pavilion. This is kind of up for discussion whenever the board feels might be appropriate. And the building would then unofficially be referred to as the Witt Center, Witt Pavilion, Witt Hall, whatever we decide to call it. There's another topic along these lines, it's the naming rights of the building. So one of the things we've been hoping to do at some point is to recoup some of the investment that we've made in the building. If a company, for example, wanted to come in and sponsor the building in exchange for hanging their logo on the building. And Erica actually proposed what I think is the best solution here. We would call it then the Stuart O. Witt Center at Mojave Air and Spaceport, sponsored by Dipperton. Whoever wants to do that.
Or Stuart or Witt can take the name rights.
So this is why I'm asking now to make the official change, rather than wait until his retirement, which is what he's kind of been requesting us to do. I just think this is a now or never opportunity. If we wait, whatever name the building is given right now is going to stick for the next several years. So if approved, we intend to purchase a sign, have it installed prior to the Board of Trade conference, which is February 21st. We're already talking with a couple of sign vendors just to get some idea of when we could actually get this done, because we're only about 4 weeks away from this conference. So my formal request to the board is to name the event center and to authorize general manager to purchase a sign, which we expect to remain within his spending authority. I've gotten a preliminary estimate, which is about $7,000, so I don't expect it to be an additional cost really to the event center itself.
I'd like to make a motion that we rename the facility as Stuart O. Witt Center. And then leave the amount spending, those details to a further later on.
Is there public comment? Wait, is there any public comment? Just going to the naming of it, center, pavilion, whatever. I just, in the marketing world that I live in the events and things, event center makes it way more marketable, because then that implies that there's something big. Sometimes centers, when you just use the word center, think of it as education facility or small. When you use the word event center, it's grand, it's big, it's money making. So that's my opinion, but.
I gotta say, I don't like being rushed into a decision. I don't like that we need to just do this all of a sudden. I think it's a bad idea. I'm not saying that the name itself is a bad idea. I think the fact that we added it on as a last minute agenda item, or we're trying to rush it through to beat an event, I think it's a bad idea. Sit back, think about this, decide. It doesn't need to be decided today. That's my opinion.
You've been talking to Stu.
No, I haven't been talking to you. I just maybe came to the same conclusion.
The discussion of this has been going on for some time. For what the naming is going to be, and my position was that the sooner we name this something other than the pool building, the more it will be ingrained into the public psyche about where's the event going to be. Right now it's the pool building. I feel it's fitting that there should be some memorial. That's a bad word. Some type of facility that will live in perpetuity for the good work that our general manager has done. And so the sooner we get this formalized, and so we can ingrain in everybody's psyche, I thought that was important. And whether it's the event center or the center, I was thinking that the Witt Center, I take your comment as very apropos that it's an event center. We're just trying to keep it simple. Where's the event going to be? Well, it's going to be in this Witt Center. And that would permeate through society for perpetuity. Everybody knows where that is. There's other issues about signage and location and lighting and budgeting and stuff like that. And I agree with the doctor that maybe that should be for further discussion and so forth. But I think it's important that we establish what that's going to be, and sooner the better.
What's the effect on naming rights if it's already got a name? It's gonna narrow the window on naming rights, probably.
That's why it would be sponsored by whoever
Okay, so what percentage of the field of people who might be willing to spend money to name it drops when it's already got a name? Have we looked at that?
Well, for enough money, you can draw this thing long.
I'm asking a serious question.
So typically what happens in sponsorship situations is they sponsor for a certain period of time. They don't sponsor for eternity.
It's not to this thing, or they change the entire name for that period of time and all that stuff goes. My point is, I don't think we looked at it.
Well, if I may make a comment about that. And we did look at that and discuss that some time ago. As an example, this year the Rose Bowl had a sponsor name over the top of the Rose Bowl. And most of those big venues have the old witt name. But then there's somebody comes in and wants to do Ford or some financial company, and that overrides that. And looking at that, I thought that was traditionally how that's going to go. And the thing is that based on, to memorialize our manager into perpetuity, that I thought it was applicable to name it after him, that would live in perpetuity. And then we'd be free to make any temporary sponsorship over that. And that's kind of tradition with a lot of those typical events that I see, the big leagues.
I have a comment from
Sorry.
Michelle.
Also, you're going to have an audience that is very affluent and massive coming up in February. These are people that you want to use your facilities, your opportunity to market it. So the pool building could be anywhere on the planet, but the WIT Center or WIT Event Center is, people know what that is. So I think you have a market right now to start marketing to, that you need to, so you can recoup the cost of paying for this event center.
Dick, I'm really honored that you think highly enough to do this, and it means a lot. It really does. The setting that aside, and I really do that. Most of you know I want to put my name on this or that or something around the airport, and that's just not what wakes me up in the morning. I like putting people to work, and so that's what drives me here now. I didn't know this was going to be Al's opinion on that one subject, and as soon as I heard the words, and I heard the accelerated nature of get it done for an event, a time-driven event, two things come to mind. I've been told for years, and I've been known to say, if you want something badly, that's usually how you get it. And so you want to take a step back and take a deep breath and think about what it is we're trying to achieve. I have known Michelle her entire life. Her parents and I are the same age, and we have all grown up together. And I listen to what Michelle has to say. I think you're absolutely right. So maybe there is a compromise that would meet the objectives of the near term. And from if it was mine to manage, I would go slowly at what words I actually buy to paste on the side of the building. And because you usually get one shot at a first impression. And if the WIT name has a draw for this audience, I think it's okay to adopt that and use that in some fashion other than the pool building. The pool building to me is a look in our rear view mirror, and we can speak to it from the podium. But I would, at least I think of myself, is that I've been a bit of a forward-leaning manager leader looking to the future. And so the WIT name to me is something about what's possible. So how you capture that and how you paste that on the side of the building, and because I am a bit of a pimp at this airport and trying to sell things for the future, how we get those words right, I would probably turn to my friend Dan Pilata and say, how do we package that and put that on the side of the building? There's a person who does this for a living at big event halls across the entire nation. He's been challenged with this challenge many times. Now, I don't know if you've bought the letters and you've sized them. I mean, I'm learning a lot as I'm going here. But if we haven't, I think we have an opportunity to slow down and ask a professional in this industry. When I go over to the Paul G. Allen straddle launch hangar, I have to be literally parked next to the building to read Paul's name. But I know it's straddle launch, and it means something to me, how they've presented that. I want to sell the naming rights to this building. My goal was to sell the naming rights to recoup our investment. I'd like to sell the naming rights for $2 million. That's my goal. I think if we do this properly and not detract from it, we'll be able to sell that real estate for $2 million. That to me is a lot more important than have my name on it. But I do agree with Michelle. I think the brand has some gravitas in the local area as an event center. And so I think in the short term you can use that however you like, but in the long run, branding it and hanging your name over it. Of course, I'm always interested in the finances of the district. I think you're giving something away by taking that valuable real estate right now, having not asked a real pro how you do that on the side of the building.
For this to move forward, the board should vote unanimously for this. And if it's not unanimous, then there's a pause to delay it. And I'd like to add that to my motion.
Is there a way to get a happy medium here? I agree with Michelle. We have an opportunity to market and sell this place, and it needs a name. I'll forecast that 20 years from now, that is going to be what the name is. Selling it or not, I agree with you. It'd be nice to find somebody to support it and put their name on it too, but I predict it will be your legacy. Looking forward. Maybe there's just a way in the interim to use that, see if it fits. Let's don't refer to it anymore as the pool building. The other one was the Mojave Air and Spaceport building. I would like to say, let's just refer to it as that, move forward, see if it fits.
Mojave Air and Spaceport Event Center.
I'm opposed to being rushed into a decision today. When like I said, I got my change to my thing on Friday, and then this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, it was discussed early on, I don't recall the exact date, but the board has discussed it, and it was referred back to the employees to come up with a
We're going to discuss it in the last year, maybe prior to the last year, but I haven't been involved in any formal discussion about the naming of the building.
Straddle launch, I really love that idea. If Stu's name, again, I know he doesn't like the idea, but his name's still there, so we can all have that when he's in the Bahamas somewhere vacationing with Susie, okay? Thinking about us poor working stiffs here. But I like that idea. That's what I like, something along those lines.
Wait for proposes to the board at another date.
I think we ought to ban you calling it the pool building.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the quest for the naming rights? It's been some time, some months now, isn't it?
It has, and the issue really is, we've gotten some lukewarm interest from some key companies, but everybody's waiting to see what the building really can do. And this is why I agree with Michelle very strongly, that right now is when we have an opportunity to showcase it. We had 2 big Christmas parties in there in December, Scaled and Virgin both had their Christmas parties. They absolutely love the building, and they will be back. I'm confident that both of them will make use of that building. The Board of Trade event is a very high visibility event. The congressman's there, Congressman McKeon is there, the senators are there, everybody at local governments, LA County and Kern County. So this really is an opportunity to showcase the building. And I think it would be really classy to have an official name to it, rather than just the airport.
Isn't that an opportunity to shop it for people to buy the naming rights?
Yeah,
But I think
in
it's just
addition to
has a
that,
name on it, that's part of it.
So,
for example, the Jethawk Stadium is officially the Clear Channel Stadium, but it's the Jethawk Stadium. Everybody says it's the Jethawk Stadium because whether it's Clear Channel or Northrop Grumman or whoever's coming in to sponsor it at that time, that's always going to change, but it's always the Jethawk Stadium. And this is just a blank name, it's just the event center. So that's really what we're looking to do, is just to make it sustainable.